Ladies and gentlemen, let's resume our session of tutorials and voiceover on the subject of mathematics. I have given you a beginner in detail, and now I'm trying to deliver you the content that we will be discussing in detail. I gave you a very long list yesterday, and as I recontinue today, we will be going to start another session of the tutorial and voiceover on mathematics when we talk about the stage of infinity and continuity. We'll have certain topics under such a heading. Say, for instance, we will be starting with the correlation of series. So we will be able to have a discussion on infinitesimal and space are no longer required in a statement of principles. The next topic will be the supposed contradictions of infinity have been resolved. We talk a lot about infinity in mathematics and physics and in some of the other correlated sciences, and there are many contradictions and they have been resolved. Then we'll talk about correlation of series, and we'll move on to independent series and series by correlation. We'll talk about the likeness of relations. We'll discuss the functions. We'll discuss the functions of a variable whose values from a series are provided. And then we'll move on to functions which are defined by formulae. And we'll move on to discuss complete series. And this is how we'll move to the next topic of our subject, and that's what we call real numbers. When we talk about real numbers are not limits of series of rationales. The other topic would be the segments of rationales. And then we'll move on to the properties of segments. And then we'll move ahead to coherent classes in a series. We will continue our discussion on the subject of mathematics, and our next topic would be limits and irrational numbers. Definition of a limit. Then we'll move on to elementary properties of limits, and then we'll move ahead to an arithmetical theory of irrationals, which is indispensable. Then we'll talk about the theory of irrationals, and we'll move on with the defects of axioms of the continuity, and then we'll have objections to this theory of irrationals. Then we'll talk about the Weierstrass theory. Then we'll talk about Cantor's theory, and we'll move to the next topic. Real numbers are segments of rationales.